Hello, everybody. It is Thursday morning, at least where I am. Could even be Friday where you are. Doesn't matter. You've got some YouTube questions. We're going to answer them. Let's do this.
vidIQ.
vidIQ.
vidIQ.com.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rob. Welcome to vidIQ, the YouTube tool and channel that aims to educate you on your YouTube journey. If you are new here, we have a fantastic range of tools that will help grow your channel. There is a link in the description. It is free to download, but you also have this glorious YouTube channel where we do videos twice a week and live streams, can you believe it, 3 times a week, where we answer all of your questions. On a Tuesday, it is the channel audits. On a Wednesday, it is a webinar, but today it is Q&A time. If you've got a question about YouTube, vidIQ, or indeed your channel, we want to hear it. And I am, as always, welcomed by a very special esteemed guest, another B team player. That's a joke from Tuesday. Jeremy Vest in the house once again. Welcome, Jeremy, to you and our wonderful vidIQ audience. Do say hello to everyone.
How's it going, everyone?
And we are saying hello to the following people, which include Estonian Mapper, Technie Collins, Something Good, Kylie's Big Pig, Magdalena, Helena. It's really fantastic. I'm starting to remember a lot more new names joining us here. And when you come back, it really makes me feel, wow, we've at least done something of value that encourages you to rejoin us. Allspark TV, Byron Finity, Dun Let's Go, Aaron Rudin, Mr. John, JV25135, and Jeremy Vest. Who else have we got in the vidIQ house today?
We have Master Goalie. Wow, it's going really fast. James B, Fortnite Gaming, Tech Collins, and it's going too fast for me to see. That's a good sign, I guess.
It's like victims of our own success here. It's amazing that so many people are joining so quickly. Let's do this. Yeah, Myron, Salbris, Ultimate Madness, Rizzo, Cinema Gaming, AA Skitsy, Toxic Hero, Fanta Guy, Epic Gamer. All of you, thank you very much for joining us today. Let's get down to business. What you need to do if you want your question answered is there is a link in the video description that takes you to a Google form. Very simple, 3 fields: your channel name, where you're from, and your question. And Jeremy and myself will do our very best to answer it. Just one more thing, if you ask a question such as how do I get more views or how do I get more subscribers, those are no-nos. It's going to be impossible to answer those sorts of questions. And we want something that's a bit more specific, and that will really help us because we're here to get into the real nooks and crannies and detail of the YouTube platform. And the first question we're going to tackle today, which is incredible because once again, Babbletop have sent us a massive super chat here of $100. Wow, thank you very much. Let's talk about demonetization. And Jeremy, this is something that we always have. I would say if you put us in a tug of war, we're sort of pulling on different ends of the same topic here. And we're going to talk about demonetization. So the first question here comes from a channel called Babbletop, and they have 280,000 subscribers from Montreal, Quebec. And their question is, our channel has been demonetized from the YouTube Partner Program. What are your thoughts on this issue? And just to give us all a bit of extra context here, let's quickly show Jeremy what this channel looks like to help you and inform our audience. So just to quickly look at the channel, it's Babbletop, and it looks to be a channel which is kind of a listicle format, looking at popular food brands like the top 10 untold truths about Parmesan cheese and the Impossible Burger and Pizza Hut and KFC. So, Jeremy, how I want to tackle this question is we're going to look at this from YouTube's perspective. Now, we're probably going to get information a little bit wrong here, but let's look at this from the extreme view of why this channel might be demonetized rather than it shouldn't be demonetized, just to give us a perspective of what YouTube might be thinking of this. So as you look at this channel, first up, what are your first thoughts as to why such a channel might have been demonetized by YouTube?
Well, I mean, not seeing any of the videos, I would say that they're definitely using copyrighted material. They're using logos. Google Cloud Vision can absolutely see if you're using someone else's logos. They seem to be using a lot of other brand names like White Castle and Pepsi. So just like from not watching YouTube videos, I am more on the strict side. If you don't own the content, never use it. And Rob is more, I would say, a little more
Lenient.
liberal than me, a little more lenient. But at the end of the day, I'm all about YouTube is just another platform on social media, and it's their game. We have to play it.
Yeah,
If
and I think
people to use other people's content, they're going to get sued, right? So they're just playing the game as best they can. And ultimately, if companies like Pepsi and White Castle are pressing them to not let others talk about, use their logos or use their content, then YouTube's going to play ball. So I would say that fair usage is something. If you want to really press into fair usage and you really want to press the limits as much as you can, I would have a good lawyer. And I would use someone like, what is it? Boom or Pow Bam Pow, the copyright monetization company or the copyright company.
And I think there are some YouTube channels out there who I think Ian Cor, I might be getting his surname wrong, but Ian Corizan or Corzine, he's done some really fantastic content. He kind of describes himself as the YouTube lawyer, looking at why channels might be demonetized. So that might be another person to look at. And yeah, Jeremy, you come from a background where you've worked with big business clients, so you can again appreciate their point of view. And I feel as if you have a philosophy of stay in school, kids, don't do drugs. It's like zero tolerance, and I think that's a fair approach to use. And I guess the one thing you could say is that you might be able to get away with using copyright content material for a certain amount of time. But when a channel grows to be so big, nearly 300,000 subscribers, 130 million views, at some point you're going to end up on YouTube's radar, aren't you? And that kind of feels as if this might be what's happened to this channel. And as you say, Jeremy, if we look at each of these thumbnails, you can see a brand in many of these thumbnails. So we're not just talking about maybe 20% or 30% of the thumbnail content. It's 80 to 100% maybe. And I had a quick look through some of the videos, and they are using a lot of like mini clips from popular films and like food adverts. And there is a voiceover. So we talk about how to a transformative piece of content whereby you're not just using clips, but you are trying to add some extra value to it. And that could well be the case from the video creators and viewers' perspective point of view. I just want to draw people to this article here, which I think is really useful for talking about copyright or indeed reuse content. And it's this top paragraph here where I'm just going to read it out and folks, let us know what you think in the comments here. What is reused content? This means you upload content from multiple sources, or that you've re-uploaded or repurposed somebody else's existing content. If all or most of your YouTube channel is dedicated to reuse content and you're not transforming the original work by adding your own unique value, then your channel is not eligible for the YouTube Partner Program. So I think this is potentially where channels like this fall into this category. And I think this is really important, this line here, and that's why I've marked it in red. The spirit of this policy is to make sure we're incentivizing unique and original content. So I think this kind of gives YouTube a bit of a get out of jail card where they can say, these are our rules. We're not necessarily talking about the law here in terms of copyright or reuse content. It's whether we deem that your channel is the right side of the spirit of the content that you're using. Any more thoughts on that in particular, Jeremy, as we sort of move away from copyright material?
The thing I'm going to say to everyone, no matter how big or small you are, I have a friend with 2 million subscribers that is dealing with this as well. And I have a person I know last year that I did consulting with before I started at vidIQ that had a channel with 2 million subscribers that was removed from YouTube. So you're not, no matter how big or small you are, YouTube doesn't really care. And they have rules, and they are a business first. So if you are using this type of content, then you are risking everything about your channel, period. Now, you could be in the right. You could be 100%
Yeah.
using the content perfectly, and you're still getting copyright claims, and you're still getting demonetized. That is where lawyers are going to have to be involved. That's where you're going to have to, be able to afford a lawyer. And that's just part of the game you chose to play, whether you knew it at the time or not. So there is a company called superbam.com specifically for this channel that we're talking about right now. Superbam.com may be able to help you.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty good at this, at navigating this and really understanding the law. And then beyond that, if you don't own it, don't use it. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I think there are lawyers out there who dedicate themselves to the YouTube universe, so it may be worth checking out one of them. Babbletop are saying that they said it's related to duplicate content. I can't quite remember if there's a specific difference between reuse and duplicate, so apologies there if we've got it slightly wrong, Babbletop. And the one final thing I would say about this is the problem a lot of YouTube creators have, and it's not just Babbletop, is that once you fall on the wrong side of YouTube's laws, so to speak, it can be so difficult to reverse that decision because of this problem of trying to contact somebody personally at YouTube. And again, there are no obvious solutions to this other than you'll have like the online chat access, I believe, because you're such a large channel. You got Team YouTube Twitter handle, but again, that's probably going out to too many people. So there may be avenues for you to explore. But yeah, once you fall on the wrong side, it can be so difficult to overturn it. But we do wish you the very best of luck on that. And
they just did another one, and they basically were saying that they're following like Watch Mojo and Mashed. Now, I will say something about Watch Mojo. Typically, they actually reach out to the content that they're using, and they get express permission. So I will say that Watch Mojo obviously is, they speak at VidCon, and they have deep relationships with YouTube.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not about what you do or what you know, it's who you know and how much money you can spend on lawyers. And when you're playing this media game, I mean, think about it like traditional media on television and in movies. This game has been played for over 100 years now, and it'll continue to evolve and be played in weird other places. I'm sure in Instagram and Firework and Snapchat. So this game of cat and mouse is going to continue for hundreds of years from now, I'm sure. The question is, specifically, who does Watch Mojo use for this? Like, what are can you contact them and get ideas from them? I think that they either have a deeper relationship or they are actually getting permission to use the content they use.
Yeah, I again, Babbletop, I'm sorry if I'm putting this in too simpler explanation, but following other YouTube's models is not an excuse. But yeah, you may know more about how they do things. But as Jeremy said, they may know people or have rights and things that we're just not aware of in this discussion. But I think it's a really interesting topic. But it's really difficult to say exactly what's happened and what you should do, because this is a problem that's affecting thousands, if not tens of thousands of video creators, and every single situation is unique. And I feel as if YouTube right now with monetization are going through an identity crisis, whereby there was a model that used to work, but the controversies have forced them to go in a different direction, which has caused a lot of issues for video creators who used to operate in a certain way, and now they're suddenly realizing that they can't, and it's just a platform maturing, and we all have to try and go along with that. And I think to put a flag in this conversation, we are all on rent a ground, and YouTube have rules, and whether we follow them or stick to them or they change them, It is a free distribution platform, and we have to follow their rules. And sometimes they get the rules wrong, and it's not an ideal situation for anyone. But I hope you found this conversation useful. We've gone into quite a lot of depth there as much as we can. But yeah, I think we'll move on now, Jeremy. Have you got another question lined up that we can try and tackle?
Sure. So, what's the best free mobile video editor? And also, do you remember the channel? Okay. I'm not going to do a channel shout out because you asked. I would have if you didn't ask though. But so Rob, do you have a mobile video editor that you enjoy?
I have got to be honest. If I had to edit films on videos on a mobile device, I would quit YouTube because I would find it excruciating. So I'm probably the worst person to ask. Having said that, Cut Pro seems to be something that I would be able to get on most with on a mobile app because it allows multiple layers for film and clip and pictures. I think KineMaster and Filmora are ones that people often go to from the Android side. But I generally speaking, I don't have any particular piece of advice. I will push you towards a video creator who is very skilled in this area, and that's D Nimin. He does a lot of content specifically for mobile YouTube video creators, so check out his channel, and I'm sure he'll have some recommendations there for you. Did you have any suggestions yourself, Jeremy? Or were you
I really like Adobe products.
Adobe Spark is one, isn't it?
Yeah, Adobe Spark, and there's a few others that are just really phenomenal. I'm a big Photoshop nerd, and I'm using the Photoshop app, and you can actually upload that to the cloud and then download it and then use it on your actual desktop. And they have a similar situation with Adobe Premiere. So it's pretty neat. I mean, you can get more complicated on these editing apps than you would ever imagine. And a lot of them are just honestly more intuitive than a desktop app because you're using your fingers. And it's like, when videography originally started, you would physically cut film together and edit it. And with using your fingers, I teach this at a college here in Dallas, Texas. And I find that it's just a lot easier to physically have people touch and move clips around than use a desktop. So there's a lot out there. And Rob, did you have the next question lined up?
I do. This is from Leah Atz. I think, Jeremy, we audited this channel a couple of weeks ago. It might have been with Travis. It's a fitness channel, a fairly new channel. They're from Minnesota. And they're saying they have vidIQ Boost. They use SEO, boost, tags, good thumbnails, detailed descriptions, end screens, all of this kind of stuff. I push content to my Instagram, other social media accounts, so they sound as if they're doing all the fundamentals right, but they're not getting the views. And just to give you a bit of context, this channel's got about 50 subscribers. They're getting views in the dozens, maybe 100 occasionally, and they're about 2 months old. So I think my response to that question is, you may well be doing everything right now, but you just haven't established enough time or authority on your channel, which I think is a fitness channel. And I would also say that just looking at your thumbnails and looking at your videos, they are good, but I can guarantee you when you look at those videos in 6 months' time, you will think that they're really bad or terrible because there's areas for improvement, and you will certainly improve on those. And this might be a bit of a vanity thing where you want to be protective of your content, but it needs to evolve a little bit. And that's not a slight on you as a video creator. Everybody goes through this process. My videos when I first started were absolutely terrible as well. What are your thoughts on this, Jeremy? It's like a channel. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, a lot of people just don't understand how hard being a YouTube creator really is. And then you have a friend of a friend that has 100,000 subscribers in a year, and it frustrates you. The truth is, you have to get 1% better every week and just go through heck, for possibly years. I have a friend that it took him 4 years to get to 10,000 subscribers. He has 3 million subscribers now, but it took him 3 years to get to his first 10,000. So I have another friend that has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and he said he was going to do one more video and give up. He's a chef. We met him at VidCon London, and he was going to do one more video before he gave up, and that one video had like 1 million views. So
Yeah.
the thing about it, and I have a small channel, and I'm starting to actually try to get views on it. And the thing about it is, it's not always about your channel authority and everything. It's just about making content people want to consume and making your stuff 1% better every week. To trigger the algorithm and to trigger the suggested videos, you have to have great thumbnails, you have to have great content people want to consume, and you have to answer questions people are asking to begin with.
I think Sean Cannell, I don't think this is his quote especially, but when he said it to me, it really resonated. Overnight success can take 5-10 years, so you can be putting all of the hard work in, and like Jeremy says, it could be just that one video. Who knows, in a year's time, 18 months time, that suddenly triggers YouTube, and then all of a sudden the momentum, like you flatline, and then the momentum all of a sudden starts climbing up a mountain. So it sounds like you're just going through the grind, the hustle at the moment, and you just got to keep persevering and working hard, and hopefully eventually YouTube will start to recommend your content more. Jeremy, have you got another question lined up?
Yeah, question is, how do I improve my average audience retention on my videos? There's a little known thing in YouTube analytics, and is actually now on the studio beta, called relative and absolute audience retention. Ooh. So what this does is it will actually show you where people are watching more of your video and where people are leaving. What you'll want to do is play the video in this absolute and relative audience retention, and see when people are leaving and when people are staying longer, and then basically cut out the scenes or whatever's happening when people are leaving.
Yeah, the data is always available in your YouTube analytics, and if you are finding that there is a particular dip in a lot of videos, you should be able to find a pattern there. And you can also experiment with just different video lengths. For example, if you're doing 10-minute videos and you don't seem to be getting enough watch time, there's nothing wrong with making a shorter video to find out if you can boost the audience retention. And then, because it'll completely change the way you edit a video. Like, you have to do things faster just to fit everything, cram everything into 5 minutes. I know YouTube always says more is better, but you have to find your own balancing act within that to determine what your audience likes in terms of video length and what you feel comfortable with when editing. Jeremy, I think you were going to add an extra point there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so I, really started my old man skateboard channel about 10 weeks ago now. Yeah. And when I really, really just edit videos, they do okay. I get between 1,000 and 18,000 views. The other day, I just literally had the camera going for 30 minutes while I was skateboarding, 0 cuts, 0 edits. It's doing better than any other video on my channel.
There you go. Yeah, and because you tried something different, and so exactly. there's always that element, isn't there, where you can go against all of our advice, like shoot something for 30 minutes unedited, and it may be that it just resonates better with your audience for whatever reason.
Yeah, and you really have to experiment. That's the thing, and don't compare yourself to others.
Got another question here from Slave AB, I think, from New Jersey. I am niching into mobile gaming channel. Would it be okay to focus 80% of my videos on one game and do 20% of my videos on other games, or even my travels as a trading card player? Thinking about scheduling upload days that spare 20%. For context, I upload 5 days a week. So I think this sounds like a fantastic idea to me, Jeremy, in terms of you have your niche, you have your target audience. I'm going to concentrate on them. But at the same time, I want to be making sure that I can, if I pick up another trend or there's another type of topic that really resonates with my audience, I'm going to experiment 1 in every 5 videos. And who knows, that video could blow up. So I think this is a perfect strategy from this video creator, something that we've experimented here with on vidIQ. I know people keep saying that we do nothing but PewDiePie versus T-Series videos, but that accounts for about 20% of our content throughout the last year. I think we've now up to about 100 uploads this year, which is incredible, and probably maybe 15 of those videos are on that topic, and those are doing really well for us. Any more thoughts there, Jeremy, or do you think this chap's got it nailed down perfectly?
Yeah, just keep on experimenting and keep on doing it. And We do have a deep philosophy here that 20% of the time you should be messing around and having fun. And it's funny that even people within our industry don't think we should be doing PewDiePie videos, or we don't think we should be doing this or that. But we have to experiment so we can teach. We have to learn so that we can grow. And if you always did the same thing all of the time, then good luck to you. You're probably not going to do super awesome.
What's the next question, Jeremy, we have lined up here from our audience?
All right, this is from Project Koozie. I used to copy another YouTuber in 2014 to 16 and take shortcuts to subscribers in 2017 and 18. My question is, what is the easiest shortcut for subscribers and views the right way? I would say, obviously, you know what my answer is going to be, Project Koozie. My answer is there's no shortcuts in life, and do your homework. No, I'm just kidding. But what I'm
Stay
going
in school, don't do drugs, don't use copyright material. Those are the 5 principles that Jeremy follows on YouTube.
I'm going to say there's basically 2 things. First off, obviously, there are ways to get more subscribers and views the right way.
Yeah.
And one of those ways is to chase trends or to do content that a lot of people are doing.
Yeah.
The problem with this philosophy, though, Flare TV got like 2 million plus subscribers, with the PewDiePie versus T-Series thing. But what are they doing now? Like, how are they going to continue to grow, right? So when you're chasing trends, it's good and bad, but you really kind of need a business plan. So chase trends, but have a plan to, monetize your channel or find a way to actually develop products or services to where you can cater to those people that came to your channel. The problem with trends, the biggest problem is you're not necessarily going to get fans out of that. People are looking at James Charles, drama, but they don't really care about you. So the problem fundamentally with growing a channel without a good business plan is you're going to be left with probably vapors of the people that you actually want to engage with you. So it really comes down to you, your content, how you can entertain or help someone. And the second really point I want to talk to you about this is I have a friend that has about 40,000 subscribers and makes over $300,000 a year teaching people how to make lawnmower businesses. Now, the thing about fame and vanity and subscribers and views is it sounds really pretty, but this guy with 40,000 plus subscribers makes more money than most famous YouTubers I know. And it's because he has a niche so focused that he has products and conferences and services around helping people become better lawnmower and lawn care maintenance companies. I have a friend here in Dallas, Texas that I help. His name's Roger Wakefield, and he's a plumber. And from basically January until now, he's used our advice. He comes on these live streams. He just hit 3,000 subscribers as a plumber. My question is, if he does a $20,000 plumbing job in Dallas, Texas, how many views and subscribers does he really need to be extremely profitable? So think about this in a perspective that isn't about vanity, but the truth of you making money or you achieving your goals, your dreams. My personal channel is about skateboarding. My dream is to skateboard with big famous YouTubers and get free skateboards. Well, in 10 weeks, I've already achieved that. So, maybe my dream's not big enough, but it's fun. And I'm skating with professional skateboarders. I'm getting free stuff in the mail, and it's a blast. So, Rob, what do you have to say about this?
People will find you for your content, but they will stay for you as a video creator. I think that's the simplest way to put it. And this is one of the reasons why Jeremy and I are now in front of camera, not only answering your questions, but also trying to build an element of trust and personal connection with the audience. And I think I've learned that quite a lot since I started at vidIQ. On my old channel, I was always just hands in front of a camera, me not being on screen. Now I'm in front of camera all of the time, and that certainly does bring in an audience. And people, what I find most amazing is when people post in comments, and they always refer to me by my first name. So people know that I'm Rob, and I don't always say that during the videos. And I know it's up here in the live stream here, but they just see me all the time and they become familiar and comfortable with Rob on vidIQ. And obviously they say Jeremy as well and Leah on when they're on. But yeah, we want to try and be your friends in this adventure. And I think that's working quite well, certainly in the last year. Thanks for the question there. Media Gossip Buzz from West Midlands in the UK. When do you think YouTube will have to change their quality to virtual reality for all videos on the YouTube platform? Wow, this is a very forward-thinking question. Me personally, I have never got into virtual reality just because when you're watching on a screen that you have to move the mouse around to see everything. And I've always thought of this in terms of the video creator wants you to see specific things in front of a camera. Like if I just move my camera around now, you would see that the room is a complete mess. But just in this frame, you're focused on just me and like this little fancy stuff in the background. So I've never known how virtual reality is going to work, especially with the barrier to financial investment to get virtual reality. But YouTube have invested a lot in it. Jeremy, I really don't have much more to add there on virtual reality. Any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, when in doubt, always think about being practical. When our phones have the ability to take virtual reality videos, then things will change. Another thing I would say is immersive reality is going to be a lot easier to happen. So like if I'm at a store and I use my phone to see what's happening, and crazy things start happening, I think that there's going to be an unfolding in the next 20 years where it's going to be super cool. But everyone's been saying for the last 5-6 years,
even 20 years, I think, first time virtual reality came out. Yeah. So
it's going to happen. But my personal theory on this is other things are going to happen faster.
Yeah.
So like and a good example of this was several years ago when a Pokemon video game came out on the phone.
Yeah.
That was more of an immersive, virtual reality experience. And I think those type of things are going to be better. I also think that, Google and Facebook and everyone has these virtual reality goggles. They're really cool. Gaming systems are getting really cool. I think it's just a matter of time, but I don't think any of this tech is just going to change the game overnight. It's going to take decades.
Folks, we are going to step up into high gear now because we're going to have the Quickfire 5-minute question round. This is where we're going to move away from the form for just a second. We'll return to that in a few minutes. But if you have a question, if you put hashtag question at the beginning of the live stream chat and a very quick question, Jeremy and I will do our best to respond to as many as 5. And Jeremy, I'm going to be really strict here. I'm going to cut you off if you are talking for too long because you give excellent long form answers, but sometimes you can go into a bit too much detail. So that's just me telling Jeremy off on air. But I will probably do exactly the same thing. Okay, so the first question is coming in here. And it's going to come when the countdown finishes. And that question is going to be from Rizzo Cinema Gaming. What is the best way to get discovered by YouTube's search engine? Find something that's been searched for a lot on YouTube and try and get into that trending topic before anyone else with better content. Jeremy.
All right. Do you think YouTube will stop demonetizing hunting videos or videos with guns? No, I don't. I think it's going to get worse.
Clark Clan asks, I get views, but how do I get people to subscribe? We've just done a really long answer on that, so rewind 5 minutes and watch that entire bit again. Jeremy.
All right. With competitiveness of content, YouTube now, I didn't understand that one. All right. Any tips on getting sponsored or sponsorships of videos? Yes. Make very specific content that people care about and know in that your genre and your niche, know all the brands and get to know them.
and make a media kit as well to help communicate what you can do on your channel. Tori Borland, this is a super chat, so I'll answer this one. $2.79 Canadian, thank you. What if you can't target your niche? That sounds like a really strange question to me. Are you saying that you've tried to get into your niche already and you can't? That sounds to me like you haven't yet identified the niche enough. You haven't gone drilled too far deep into it. There must be an audience out there for your niche, so I would revisit that topic and keep going after it. Jeremy, what have we got next?
Question. They want to see Rob's messy room. That's just funny.
All right. Yeah, sure. Here we go. There's sort of a room house over there, and I think my wardrobe is open with all my clothes in there. So yeah, that's a very quick sneak peek into my room. And now my camera is completely messed up. So Jeremy, take another question while I fix all of my camera.
All right. What are new changes that will affect new YouTubers? I don't think there's a lot of new changes that will affect YouTubers, but you're going to have to target longer phrases, and you're going to have to really double down on a specific niche. So if you're a gamer, you probably want to focus on one game a year. If you're a interior designer, you probably want to focus on just one thing, like kitchens.
I would say this, Jeremy, just consider this in 12 months' time, there's going to be a new generation of video creators who never experienced a classic studio. And I think that is going to be a really weird experience for a lot of people. And who knows, people who've come into the YouTube never having used a classic studio may somehow be able to utilize a new studio far better than us Luddites, because I still struggling to transfer over to the new studio. What have we got next then? I'm looking at a question here from YT Bros. What do you record with and what do you edit with? I record with Camtasia. It might not be the first choice for most video creators, but I do a lot of screen recordings on vidIQ, and it's the best tool for that, because you can simply press Control-A, which creates an animation, and then I can manipulate the screen as much as I want, and that's why I find it amazing. And it's very reliable as well, it never crashes. So that's Camtasia 9, and I think it's about $200. Jeremy, have you got a question here for us?
Yeah, how to best capture your audience in 1 to 30 seconds. I would say it's about a hook. You really need to read books and understand storytelling basics. You should have 3 or 4 parts of a story, the beginning, middle, and end, but you should also have a hook and cliffhangers and reasons to get people to stay. Even in how-to videos or gaming videos, you really need to understand the basics of storytelling.
I'm going to drop Jeremy in this one because I obviously cannot answer this question myself. This comes from, where's it gone now? Naturally Nappy. Any tips for hair channels? Jeremy, take it away.
Well, obviously, I'm the expert on that. Actually, I've done a lot of hair channel.
That's why I did push it over.
Yeah, billions of views on that. And I will say that it really comes down to making 100 videos on braids. So making 100 videos on how to make a waterfall braid, how to make a whatever braid, how to make a classic blah, blah, blah braid. If you really focus, so instead of hair, think of one genre of hair, like natural hair tutorial, natural hair for African-American people or whatever it is. I would have a niche within a niche within a niche. So I would target specific people, and the best channel in the world for hairstyles is Cute Girls Hairstyles. They're 3 miles from me and good friends of mine, and they have over 1 billion views.
Liv Marie shouts this question. What would you say are the most important things to consider when uploading a video? I would say obviously the content, but thumbnail and title. If you're going to concentrate on anything, put most of your effort into those 2 things. And I think there, Jeremy, I'm going to give us both a round of applause there, because we got through quite a lot of questions in that quickfire round. Really is appreciated. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying this Q&A session. We're going to answer some more questions very soon, but just before we do that, something I like to do every single week is make things really awkward by saying absolutely nothing for around about 15 seconds, because that does give you a moment to just scroll your mouse or your finger just below the video and click on that thumbs up button, because you're not getting any more value from us until you've done that. So I'll wait for you to do just that. Jeremy, you're supposed to be taking this seriously. Come on. All right, there we are. Thank you very much for clicking the thumbs up button there. We do appreciate it. And if you're subscribing as well, I'm seeing a lot of new people subscribing to the channel in the little alert box that we have there. Jeremy, tell us what the Tube Talk podcast is, because it was your baby. It's now been transferred to very safe hands. But yeah, just introduce our audience to what the vidIQ Tube Talk podcast is.
Yeah, so Tube Talk has been around for 5 years or so, and we've had hundreds of the best video marketers and YouTuber guests in the world, and it continues with Leron, one of our employees here at vidIQ. And basically every week, you're going to hear from some of the best people in video marketing and YouTubers, and we're going to get to what their top tips are for why they became successful. So if you have a long commute, if you like to work out, if you are walking the dogs every day, make sure you download vidIQ's Tube Talk on any podcast platform.
And we have a clip from the latest edition of the podcast right here, right now. Listen.
Yeah, when someone says, I don't want to be pigeonholed, you're basically saying, I don't want to be known for being really good at one thing. Okay, well,
Yes.
That's a first world problem, because I don't really want to, I'm not going to think of you. If you're known for too many things, you're never going to pop up on my radar or in my mind. And that to me is a much bigger problem than being quote unquote pigeonholed. I think being pigeonholed is wonderful. It means that you have beat out other people.
Tube Talk available there from all good podcast providers. Leron, of course, is absent today and will continue to be absent until he invites me onto his podcast. That's one of the current running jokes here we have at vidIQ, because we've fallen out over the topic, which is why we have Jeremy here instead. Sorry, that sounds like Jeremy, you're the second choice. That is not the case. Jeremy is the number one guest here at vidIQ.
That's the second time you've done that to me this week.
How many? I'm going to go off topic a bit here now, but how many live streams do you think we've done together now?
Oh my gosh!
I think we're pushing close to 100 now. I would have
really.
This one. Well, we've done a channel audit a week for a good year before we had other guests, and we've done a couple of these. So yeah, maybe more like 70, and our chemistry is still terrible. I'm joking. All right, Jeremy, let's take another question. Have you got one lined up for us?
Sure. Well, I did. And then...
Sounds like he hasn't. I'm the same, Jeremy. I got completely lost and didn't bring up another question. I've got one if you're not ready yet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fortcraft Warrior 125 from England asks, Rob, do you like to watch Drama Alert? And I have to confess, I neither like nor dislike watching Drama Alert. I just haven't got time to watch such a program on YouTube. I mostly spend my time watching what other video creators are talking about with YouTube. So that'd be Creator Insider, and then Tim Schmoyer, Nick Nimmin, Brian G. Johnson, like our fellow YouTubers. And then I'm thinking, oh, that's a really good topic. Is there something that maybe I can use from that and turn it into a vidIQ type video? So that's where I spend most of my time. As for Drama Alert itself, given that YouTube have just started, we think, are cracking down on live sub counts because of the drama that was created between James Charles and Tati Westbrook. Does YouTube approve of such a channel? It's very popular, but do they want it on their platform? Jeremy, any thoughts there about drama per se? Not knocking a channel, I think is a really good channel.
Yeah, I mean, look at tabloids and newspaper headlines. This has been happening for hundreds of years, and all these platforms will, from the Russia meddling in our elections to everything, these headlines really help to sell, and drama helps to sell people to watch and subscribe to YouTube channels. I don't think YouTube likes channels like Drama Alert. That's my 2 cents. And I think it's because they stir up controversy, and advertisers don't like that.
Mm. Okay, have you got a question lined up now?
I do.
Jeremy? Yeah. Okay,
and this actually is asked a lot, actually. Yeah. Why don't you guys have, or what's stopping you guys from having 1 million subscribers? And we actually get this almost every week, like, oh, you only have 350,000 subscribers. What? You guys aren't even cool. And, this is funny. And this goes to a lot of mindsets of creators. Hey, we're YouTube people. We should have 10 million subscribers. Cool. Maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. But this time last year, we were at about 125, 135, maybe
Yeah.
150,000
150, I
subscribers.
think, yeah.
And we went in 12 months from that to almost 350,000 subscribers. So I think we're going to sleep well tonight. And this is not me bragging. This is talking about the creator's journey. So being a creator is difficult. You know, going from the first 0 to 10,000 subscribers could take you 5 years or 10 years. But everyone's on their path and they're on their journey. We happen to be on the very high end for most people's journey. But it didn't start that way. Rob, how long have you been working on vidIQ's channel?
So yeah, I made my first tutorial video for vidIQ back in April of 2016. So 3 years into the journey now. And I think at that time we had maybe a couple of thousands of subscribers, and videos would maybe get 500 to 1,000 views at most. And like you say, Jeremy, it is just a journey. I came into vidIQ not really being what you might call a YouTube expert, just somebody passionate about the platform. So I've been learning along the way as well. And whenever somebody asks this question, my response to this is always, a video creator who's been on the journey would never ask such a question because they understand the struggles of being a video creator. They know that sometimes they can make the most fantastic content, and for whatever reason, YouTube doesn't share it. So it's not so much like if you haven't done a day in my shoes, you'll never know how it is. But I think video creators who have had some success understand the struggles to begin with. And I would say, if you don't think if you think we should have 1 million subscribers and you don't trust our content, that's fine. You can go and visit another YouTube channel that gives tips, tricks, and advice. We're only interested in the people who find our information valuable and help transform their lives, and those are the people we're going to concentrate on. But I fully respect and appreciate anybody's comments on that. But
and this person wasn't negative.
No, yeah.
But he's like, hey, what's stopping you guys from 1 million subscribers? And I would say nothing. We're killing, from our perspective and our goals, as a company. I could see us hitting 400,000 plus subscribers by end of the year. So then in 2020, what's that? 600,000 or 700,000. So, nothing's stopping us besides time. We're going to get there.
And I think the biggest channels in our area, you're talking about Daryl Leaves, Tim Schmoyer, they're in 500,000, 400,000 subscriber range. So we don't think we're far off, and there is kind of going to be a ceiling just because of the size of the topic. But
right.
Yeah, I think we're doing a good job. And if you're here enjoying our content, you must think we're doing something of a good job as well. But an interesting question as always. Techie Collins. Let's see, we've got 10 minutes left here. Techie Collins from Nairobi, Kenya. Wow. Thank you for joining us here from Africa. You've recently started a YouTube channel, a tech channel. You have good ideas, but every time I do a search on the idea I have, the competition is clearly something a small channel cannot handle. How do I compete against these giants? How do I get people to actually view my content? How do I get people to subscribe? All of their attention and trust seems to be on these big tech tubers. Okay, I can answer this question perfectly. So I'm going to do a quick poll here, canvas in the live stream chat. How many of you have iPhones? So like maybe 70% of you may raise your arms. Then I might ask the next question. How many of you have wanted to make a video on an iPhone? And maybe 50% of you will raise your hands. So we're down to about 30 people. And then I might ask the next question. How many people have ever wanted to screen record their iPhone? So that's something really specific within the tech iPhone genre. And 5 people might raise their hands. And then the final question would be, have any of you made a video on how to record your iPhone screen? And hopefully only one person would raise their hands, and that's me, because I built a channel on that very specific topic. And all right, there's about 130 people in the live stream right now, and only 5 people might be interested in how to record their iPhone screen. But if there's only one person supplying that content, guess where those 5 people are going to be? Now times that by about 2 billion users, and that's where you find your niche. So if you're a tech channel, don't just look at it from the from the top of a skyscraper down, try and get into the basement, 10 levels under, into the subways, find something that's really specific that you know more than anything else about on YouTube, and then just go deep into that topic. And I can't think of a better way of answering that. In fact, Jeremy, I'm still really worrying about this talk that I've got to do at VidCon, and I think I've just found 5 minutes worth of my talk there on how velocity can be important for a small channel.
Awesome.
All right, Jeremy, sorry, I went off into my own mind there thinking about
I almost had to cut you off there, Rob.
Well played. All
right, so this is a very good question. Are there actual benefits or consequences for purchasing views, subs, and likes? We all want a shortcut. We all want to get there faster. And I think like 10 years ago, I made a fake channel and did this very thing to see, as
Jeremy,
a
naughty.
It wasn't a real channel. I just wanted to see how fast YouTube would know and, how all this works. Because I 10 years ago, YouTube wasn't super ethical. People were doing things a lot worse. And I mean, I wasn't one of those people, but I wanted to test this. And basically, here's the deal. There are more like rocket scientists and engineers working at Google than probably NASA at this point. I actually heard that stat somewhere a few years ago. And the actual truth is, it's not going to help you by any means. If you think having 20,000 or 100,000 subscribers makes you cool, it doesn't. Like, there's a lot of people that have a lot of subscribers. But from a harmful perspective, YouTube knows.
Yeah.
Because for IP tracking and all the sophisticated things they have, they do purchase every, several times a year, several times a month. Some people see, from dead accounts or duplicated accounts. And so yeah, I mean, if you don't care about getting your YouTube channel removed, then maybe it's not a big deal. But I just think it's a just bad idea altogether, because there's no value. If you don't actually get people that care about you and your channel, then the channel doesn't mean anything. There's no value to the channel. Rob?
All right, Jeremy, I'm going to do some role play here, and I have no idea if this is going to work, but hey ho, I like to experiment. So Jeremy, you need to look to your right. Okay. Hey, Jeremy, do you want to do sub for sub?
No.
The answer was supposed to be yes, and then we just both look at the camera for 10 seconds and then say, all right, now what do we do? Like, there's literally no value in doing any paid or practices like that, because you get a number out of it, but YouTube's not just about numbers. The analytics are really important, but it's all about the audience. So if you're buying views, let's say even a person watches it, it's almost like they're being forced to watch it. They're being tortured by being paid a little bit of money to watch it. But it's going to be so unlikely that they are invested in your content through it's similar to giveaways. Like, if you do a giveaway and you get people to subscribe, they're only there to get something for free or get something. They're not there for your content. So, yeah, paid, I would suggest, never works. It's usually there because you want to sell a product or a service through an advert rather than paid views on content. All right, I'll move on then. Jasper 2Fly from Los Angeles. We actually talked about this during a YouTube meetup last night. How important is thumbnails versus titles? So, Jeremy, we know that both thumbnails and titles are important, but which is most important and why?
That's asking which comes first, the chicken or the egg. I would say that they're equally as important to each other, because the title has to stop people, or the thumbnail has to stop people in the tracks.
Yes. Yeah.
And the title has to give someone a reason to engage and click. So I would say it really is like a 1-2 slam dunk. It's not this or that. The title stops people from scrolling, gets their attention and intrigue, or the thumbnail does. And then the title pushes them over to click and watch your video.
Yeah, I was more in like the 70-30% range, or is it 70% thumbnails, 30% titles? But I agree with the philosophy in that you've got to catch somebody's attention, and the thumbnail is going to do that. And a really good title is only going to help push the potential viewer into clicking in it. But yeah, I would say thumbnails, personally speaking. Just judging by how we've been able to improve because I think our titles on vidIQ have always been generally good, but our thumbnail game has improved remarkably, and that's really helped us get a higher click-through rate. But yeah, if you're going to focus on one thing, I would say thumbnails and titles. Through keyword research, you should have a generally good understanding. When you can put the two together, for example, like Mr. Beast, then you can just take it to an entirely new level and get tens of millions of views. Have you got a question lined up, Jeremy?
Yeah. So someone's asked the question about 47,000 times, so I'm going to answer it.
Okay.
And that is, how do you make trick shot videos? Like, how do you get trick shot videos seen? Obviously, I would study the greats like Dude Perfect. A friend of mine is juggling Josh Horton. He's just crossed 400,000 subscribers recently. And I started working with him 3 or 4 years ago when he had like 1,000 subscribers. So he was in your position 3-4 years ago, had 1,000 subscribers, and no one saw his content. You know what he did? Honestly, he worked his butt off and put out 3 or 4 videos a week for 4 years. And then it finally started taking off. People like Jake and Logan Paul started noticing him, and they started inviting him onto his channel, and he started breaking world records and just working harder than anyone else in his niche in the world. And he is now well on his way to getting to 1 million subscribers in the next 12 months. So this is a snowball effect. This is a bell curve. This isn't something that just happens overnight. If I wanted to rank #1 in the world for some particular trick shot, I would make 100 videos on how to, bowling ball trick shot, whatever. I would just keep on focusing in on that keyword. You're not going to win the lottery with one video, but you may start ranking for that term if you have 10 or 20 videos in that niche. Rob?
I'm so tempted to try and do a trick shot onto my back shelf here, but I've got nothing at hand to do that. I would agree mostly with what you're saying there, Jeremy. In terms of trick shots, I guess you have to do something that's not been seen anywhere else. I guess with trick shots, or better than anyone else. And also maybe consider how those videos are edited, because I think with things like trick shots, you want that adrenaline drug hit like almost every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So like with Do Perfect, they probably include like 30 unbelievable tips within the space of 5 minutes. So there's a real importance on making those videos as streamlined as possible. So yeah, good luck with that. And as Jeremy said, you put in all the effort and eventually it will pay off, but you've got to go through his hard yards. Let's do this, yeah, from Michigan. We've got about 5 minutes left. Asks, I've been saving money for a long time and I finally have enough for a Canon T6i. I have done some research and it seems like a good camera. Do you have any tips for buying a camera? I will just tell you personally what I use, and what you're seeing right now, it's through a cam link. I use a Panasonic G7, which I think is around about $500, $600. Served me very well as a mirrorless camera, and I wouldn't change it for anything else right now. Jeremy, have you got any tips in terms of a camera that you might be worth purchasing?
Yeah, I have a T6i. Okay. I had it for 7 or 8 or 9 years.
Oh, so it's an older camera then?
It is. It's a phenomenal camera. I would actually not recommend you buy a T6i. I would recommend you buy something that's less expensive but newer.
How much is it, just out of interest, generally speaking?
I'm not sure. Maybe at this point, a few hundred, $300-400.
Okay.
But just for the body and a lens, probably. Yeah. But this is what I would tell you. Buying something like a Canon M50 or something that's a little newer, maybe not super expensive. The tech has just came so far in the last decade that I really believe you would honestly would do better to use a new smartphone than you would the T6i.
Okay. There we go then. So save your money, maybe buy a microphone instead, or if I was going to personally recommend one, the G7, and it was probably a similar price, but I would say do your research because you'll probably get a different answer from every video creator. All right, Jeremy, I'm going to look at this one because I think you may have some new exciting news in this area, which we're talking about in vidIQ chat this morning. ZNubZ Highlights, a wonderful name, from Denmark. What is a great thumbnail software? And we'll start with the usual ones such as Photoshop, that's what we use, but you've got free options such as Canva and GIMP Online, I think. But Jeremy, you were just talking in the chat about a fantastic new piece of software that can help with a very particular type of thumbnails. Because you can see us on screen now, but there's like backgrounds, and maybe you want to remove the backgrounds, and there's a free way to do that now. I think it's free. Jeremy, tell us a little bit more about this tool that you've discovered.
Yeah, so you can go to remove.bg.com, and this is phenomenal. So I've been using Photoshop for 20-ish years, and removing backgrounds is actually difficult, especially when you have a lot of stuff behind you.
Yeah, the magnetic lasso usually takes about 2-3 minutes to draw around your person. So I'm really interested in this tool as well.
This is crazy. I uploaded a picture of Leron this morning, and it perfectly, absolutely perfectly removed him out of the background, even took out background from hair, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah.
And in like 5 seconds, I was able to download the image. Now, if you want to download the images like 4K or high quality, you'll have to pay a small fee.
Okay.
But people with like Canva, for example, don't really have the ability to remove the background. So it's a phenomenal tool. I would highly recommend, if you're not efficient in something like Photoshop, I would use something like that.
And that, just to remind us, that was removebg.com. Was that? I believe
so.
If I spell it correctly, that would help all of us.
Yeah, remove.bg. My bad. Remove.bg.
Okay, I'm just going to show it on screen for everybody very quickly. This is what it is. Automatically remove. I mean, there's like a demonstration here with a kid with some really stringy hair, and from experience, that is really hard to cut out like that, and it looks as if it does a superb job. So I'm going to try this almost as soon as this live stream ends. So thanks for the suggestion there. And hopefully that will help you with your thumbnail tips. And we've got a series on videos now on thumbnails as well, so do check them out on the channel. Jeremy, let's take another question if you've got one lined up.
Yep, I'm just scrolling up to find it again. Give me 1 second. If you have one, I will look for mine. Got thrown off there.
We both thrown ourselves off now, so we're frantically searching through the questions that you posted here in our form. Couple of how to get more subscribers, so we don't want to. All right, let's try this one. Allspark TV from Louisville, Kentucky, I think. Do you miss the Wild West days of YouTube when the platform was about creators doing whatever they wanted, no matter how random, and just having fun instead of a business? That's a really fascinating question. So let's throw that over to Jeremy first, who perhaps has a bit of a different opinion because you were, I guess, a video marketer working in the Wild West. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working specifically on YouTube since, I guess, 2008. And honestly, things are funner. I bet when Google had 10 employees or YouTube had 5 employees or, Facebook had 10 employees, I'm sure they had a better time than they are now, right? So when people grow up, you got to get real jobs and cut your hair. And, YouTube is a multi-billion-dollar per quarter business now, and they cannot afford to do anything other than the way they're doing it, basically. I would argue that they could have better communication with the creators, but beyond that, they're very highly regulated and getting more regulated every day, and it is not the Wild West anymore. So, yeah, I think all things in life are funner when things aren't regulated and you can do whatever you want, but it's just not where we are now. And I would argue that all social platforms even the smaller ones like Firework and, Snapchat and Instagram, they're all under the same pressure, and in some form or capacity.
Yeah, the internet is maturing. I mean, I was saying this in a video yesterday that the internet didn't even exist 30 years ago. YouTube didn't exist 15 years ago, and now we have a channel. All right, it is a big Bollywood movie label, but they have effectively used a free platform to reach 100 million subscribers. And then an individual creator such as PewDiePie, we talk about the Wild West, those types of video creators who were able to build up massive channels. And I still think that YouTube is an amazing platform to share your creativity. And I would say that YouTube has transformed my life. And I would say that if I started YouTube today, I've got to be honest, I don't know if I'd be able to achieve in the same way that I have, because there was a little less competition. And I feel as if my video skills aren't necessarily as good as other video creators, but I've got skills elsewhere that I think are really strong. But yeah, I think in the days of the Wild West were better in some ways, but I now in this world where tools such as vidIQ and other companies are moving into YouTube and have allowed me to take this into the professional arena, I will always be grateful for that opportunity. If I was still an individual video creator, chances are I'll probably be doing another job as well, because YouTube would just never pay enough for me. Obviously different for other creators. So I don't know if you got your answer there specifically, Allspark, but that's kind of like our experiences. And maybe, I guess, from one perspective, what YouTube maybe needs right now is a competitor, just to shake things up, a disruptive force in the video platform. But YouTube got in there first. It's almost like YouTube did exactly what video creators should do. They got into the video space first, and they've built themselves into such an empire that it's going to be so difficult for any other platforms to really compete, unless it's somebody such as Amazon who can do that. I'm waffling a bit here, but yeah, thanks for the question. Jeremy's mentally cutting me off here. What we'll do now then is we'll take your questions, another 5-minute round here of questions before we say our goodbye. So folks, hashtag question in the live stream chat, and as soon as I see the first one, we'll do a 5-minute countdown to ask as many questions as you can. In the meantime, thank you very much for everybody who subscribed during this live stream, and if you press the thumbs up button. And yeah, if you found this live stream useful, make sure to share it with one video creator today who who may also find this type of stuff useful. Thank you, Strong Dan, for hashtag question, but I need an actual question after that. All right, I've seen the first one, Jeremy, so here we go. Countdown is on, and we'll answer your questions, which begins now. The first one from Middle Earth Love. What mics do you use? I use a black Blue Yeti microphone, but I've also got some modulation on it as well, so it just makes my voice sound a little deeper. Jeremy, you have?
The Rode Podcaster.
And I think Jeremy's sounds better, but do let us know in the chat. The question is from Mars YT. How do I know what my niche is?
Actually, this is harder than it looks, right? You have to, I say it's matching your passion with search intent, and then you'll understand it. What do I mean by that, Rob?
I have no idea, Jeremy. Please help me out here.
So let's say you like cooking.
Yeah.
What kind of cooking? Is it Asian fusion? Is it, making cookies? So then you like just go down the rabbit hole of what you really like to do, and then match that with what people are searching for on YouTube.
I would also say sometimes though that you almost fall into a niche, because I'm talking about how to record your iPhone screen. I never expected that to be my niche on YouTube on my old channel, but it was in the tech area, so it was still an area of interest, but I just discovered that, and YouTube kind of pushed me towards that. All right, Jeremy, another question. All
right. How do I get noticed from your first video? You don't. Next.
No, Jeremy's in a rush.
No, I'm just saying, like, nothing in life comes easy. Don't expect to get noticed from your first video. Talk to me after your 100th video, and then we'll have that conversation.
Edwin Parker, does posting videos bring more views? It does depend on the topic. I was actually talking to somebody who was thinking of starting an eBay channel, a channel about helping people sell products on eBay, and I was kind of thinking, viewers probably don't want a video a day on that, and they may probably prefer 2 videos a week on that, possibly 1 video a week. Gaming channel, different audience completely. They probably want videos every single day. So it all depends on your topic and your channel, and I would say just push out as many videos as you feel comfortable with, and then test and see what the responses are. Thank you to Erhan Berger, by the way, who's fed us $5 Australian. Thank you for the super chat there. Jeremy, got another question?
Yeah, so does likes and dislikes
oh yeah, I saw this one as well.
Or your promote and suggested videos? And the short answer is yes, a little bit, but things like watch time and velocity are a lot more important. So likes and dislikes are becoming more and more less important, or becoming less important.
More and more less important. I love that turn of phrase.
I have an hour-long live stream brain at this point. So they're becoming less important. And one reason you can think about, a few months ago, YouTube disabled comments for most channels with kids under, that are young, that are minors. How would those channels do well if comments and likes and things, 3-year-olds don't necessarily like or dislike anything, right? So from YouTube understanding patterns of how people watch, they're understanding that watch time is the #1 way that affects, and then how fast people are watching your videos, which is we call views per hour, or YouTube calls velocity. Those are the 2 biggest things you need to watch out for.
I have a 1-hour live stream brain is a subtle way of Jeremy saying I'm done. Let's go. But we've still got a couple of minutes left here. And another question is from Nathan Histed. Do you think it's best to start from scratch with a generalized topic you want your channel to be about, or just switch it up on the existing? I'm not really sure what your question is there.
I can take this. So
yeah, go ahead.
I just did this on my channel. I was talking about YouTube strategy, and I just switched to skateboarding with 4,000 subscribers. And people are like, what are you doing? Like, what happened? Why did you do that? So I would say all in all is a horrible idea. But at the same time, my channel is Jeremy Vest, which is me. And I'm okay with messing up my channel and my audience while I'm small, so that I can understand what I'm going to be when I grow up. A lot of people don't, like Rob was saying earlier, a lot of people don't realize that you don't know where you're headed until you get there sometimes, especially on YouTube. And I started because I'm a YouTube strategist talking about YouTube stuff, and I'm moving into my passion, which is skateboarding. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with losing, a few hundred subscribers that don't care about skateboarding. But if I had 100,000 subscribers, I would not have done that.
Jacksepticeye, I'll just take this last one, asks, if you use copyright songs and use it on your vids, does YouTube remove it? Not necessarily, but there is very likely going to be a copyright claim from whoever owns that, and if the worst case scenario, a copyright strike. So put simply, don't use, if you know it's copyright material, and we talked about this at the very top of the show, like you're skirting that line of YouTube's copyright rules, you're just asking for trouble. And I'm just going to raise my hands and say, woohoo, I pronounced Erhan Berger's name correctly for once, and he sent me another $5 super chat just because I said his name correctly. So folks, if you want me to pronounce your name correctly, then do send us a super chat. I'm joking, of course. Please don't do that, because I usually butcher the usernames, which is what we're going to do right now, Jeremy, as we finally say goodbye to our audience this week. So if you are saying goodbye here, do make sure to put it in a live stream chat, and then we will say that in the next minute. Thank you, as always, for spending the most important currency in the world. That's your time on our live stream. I hope you found it useful. Goodbye to the following: Strong Dan, Jacksepticeye 2, Mr. John, Sam Plays Plus Vlogs, Ginger Roots Media, Generic Waffle, still love that username. We've also got in the house Edwin Parker, Dream Allures, The Everyday Axe, and Middle Earth Love. I've run out of breath, Jeremy. Who else have we got to say goodbye to?
Allstate Park, Generic Waffles again, Excalibur K, Splint 2 Gaming, Jeffrey, Sound Flare, Roush Sladdy, Eden Gate Colt SK9 1990. All right.
Oh, he's going into a higher octave there. Magdalena, Helena, toodles to you as well. Jeffrey, TSP Heat, SK9 1989. And finally, the Everyday Axe. It's all been wonderful. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time on the vidIQ livestream. Wave uncomfortably, Jeremy.